Hey, this is Nick and welcome to Borsellino Carpentry. So today's video, I'm trying to figure out, I want to talk about the Payment Protection Program, PPP, as well as unemployment insurance, and my experience with what's going on with them and how frustrating it is, and trying to figure out a couple things in particular today. So, I've been sitting down in my office trying to figure this out. I just figured out the whole dates of everything that I applied for all of these programs. So I'm just gonna run through this quickly. The last day of work was Friday, March 13th. And then on Friday, March 27th, the CARES Act was signed. And the CARES Act was what funded the Small Business Association to give out the money for the PPP and the EIDL. The EIDL is Economic Injury Disaster Loan. They're both two types of loans that are supposedly low interest and potentially forgivable. And then, so that was on Friday. That Monday, March 30th, I applied for unemployment, which is a brand new thing that they just made up out of thin air so that self-employed people like myself can apply for unemployment. So I signed up, and then it immediately told me that I needed to start making phone calls to complete the process, which I did for 2 weeks. I called approximately 200 times and then gave up. Eventually they did change the system, and they made it so that I could apply online or finish the application online. So that went through eventually. That same week I had called the bank about the PPP loans, and I had called my accountant, and my accountant was the one who told me about the EIDL loan. So I went through their website, filled that out in 10 minutes. That week I don't actually have I can't find any documentation of it, which is really weird. But I applied for that, and that I received on the 1st of May. So about a month after I applied, I received that. And that is $1,000 per employee, and I'm the only employee. So that week I had talked to the bank on Saturday, April 4th. The bank got back to me finally with the paperwork to fill out for the PPP, which I filled out. That took me a few days. I had to call my accountant and get tax information, and it was a very complicated process to figure this out. April 8th, I submitted my application to the bank. On April 10th, the bank got back to me and told me that they no longer were taking applications and I had to do it online. So I just wasted a whole week. By this point, the funding was almost running out. But I applied online, and they got back to me. Okay, so on the 10th, they sent me a link to apply online, which I did. On the 15th, they were finally processing my application. So 5 days later, I mean, they were swamped. I'm sure a million people were applying for this thing. The 15th, they got back to me. They were missing something, but the email wasn't clear. So I responded to her. She got back to me the following day saying she needed my social security number, was what she needed, the 16th. So I applied for that on the 16th. And on the 17th, I got an email back from them saying basically I was approved and I will be funded. They have no idea when. I had also received the stimulus check that week on the 13th. Which was good, I guess. Thank you to the United States government for giving me my tax money back. So on the 17th, my application for the PPP finally went through, right? And then by this time, they had run out of money and had now refunded the second round. On May 1st, I received the EIDL, which is $1,000 per employee, and I'm only one employee, so I got $1,000. And I believe the EIDL is immediately, you don't have to pay it back. It's just like, here's some money to help you get through this time as a business. On 5/4, which was a Monday, I received my first unemployment check finally with the bonus 600. And then on Wednesday, I received my second unemployment check because they were backed up. And now I'm also still owed for a month that they haven't given me yet. And then the next day I received the PPP. Now, here's where it gets confusing. I cannot find any legitimate documentation anywhere that says whether or not I can have unemployment and a PPP and an EIDL. Because as I read it, an EIDL, the L is a loan, the PPP is also a loan. It's like a mortgage. Like I had to go to the bank and fill out paperwork for a loan. So it's not income, right? Now, when you go to do your unemployment every week and fill out the thing, it asks if you had any income. Well, it's not income. It's a loan. I have to pay it back. So it's very confusing. Now, the part where it gets extra confusing is they say it's a forgivable loan. Then it becomes kind of like a grant. So is that income? I don't know. I've scoured the internet trying to figure this out on my own. I've scoured the Department of Labor's website. I've looked on all these different websites. I cannot figure it out. Now, I have found some third-party websites that have had some information. I don't know if it's legitimate or not. It's literally just off the internet. But there's this company, bench.co is the website. And according to them, there are some differences here. And it says that technically you are not supposed to be able to take both. However, if it's a loan and I use it as a loan and I pay it back at the 1% and I just give them their money back, I believe I can still collect unemployment. The unemployment is, now this is where it gets really confusing. All right, so the unemployment, let me do some math real quick and I'll be right back. If you're getting any benefit out of this right now, please give me a like and subscribe. Share this with your friends. Okay, so now here's where it gets confusing. The PPP is forgiven non-taxable income, or whatever, it's not even income, whatever it is. The PPP is forgiven non-taxable. Unemployment is taxable, okay? So, but I've also seen conflicting information that says the PPP will be taxed as income. So I'm not 100% sure about that. Now, the PPP is based on 2.5 times your average monthly income. So if you take your yearly payroll divided by 12 times 2.5, which is approximately 10 weeks, that's what they base it off of. And then they say that of that 10 weeks, 8 weeks needs to be for payroll, 2 weeks is for your business expenses, which breaks down to be 74% and 26%. They rounded the numbers to be 75-25. All right. So that would say my small, tiny business got $5,100 from the PPP, which breaks down to $1,275 for my business and $3,825 for me, for my personal expenses, for 2.5 months. All right. Now, like I said, that's the 8 weeks they want you to spend it over. So 38.25 divided by 8 weeks is $478.13 before taxes. Okay. Unemployment is paying me $182 per week. 182. And then they're giving this $600 bonus, right? Which brings me to $782. And they are taking out the taxes, which brings it to $684.25. Big difference there. $684 versus $478. Okay, so to be exact, That's $206.12 more if I stay on unemployment than if I take the PUA. Now, if the PUA is in fact non-taxable, I'm still only getting $478. Okay? And if it is end up being taxable, then you get even less. So, I have just taken the the PPP money and I put it in my savings account, and I'm going to rely on the unemployment money and either just give them the PPP money back, or if they will let me keep it on a 1% interest loan like it's written up to be, I'll keep it as that and use it as a loan to help the business over the next 2 years, which is the duration of this loan. Now, if the PPP, I'm also saying if you get that, you're supposed to say that you don't have unemployment anymore. Well, take the PPP back then, because you're paying me more on unemployment than you're paying me for the PPP. It doesn't make sense. Now, where it's also confusing with the PPP, the PPP says additional income received won't affect benefits, but the unemployment may affect benefits. May. Okay? Again, it's all vague terms. And this is not even any legitimate website. This is just a website I found with the most information. Some random website. With the PPP, you can continue to pay health insurance benefits to employees. With unemployment, you cannot. I'm in a different situation. I'm self-employed sole proprietor, so I pay my own health insurance by myself. So whatever. I don't know if that even really applies to me. And then for the PPP, there are restrictions on how the money can be spent. As I said, this 75-25, 25 business, 75 personal. And with unemployment, there's no restrictions on how the money is to be spent. So they both have pros and cons. For me, I had to sit down and figure out the math of what was most beneficial to me. And I believe that the unemployment is most beneficial, and to use this as a loan if they will let me. But as I said, I am not going to spend the money because I would rather give it back to them if that's the case. So I guess that's it. I mean, this is so complicated. I have spent, I don't know how many hours, days I've spent trying to figure all this out, how many sheets of paper I've filled out, how many emails I've sent, how many websites I've read, how many times I've done the math. It's blowing my mind, and I still don't understand it. And everybody I talk to gives me a different answer. So I don't know who to trust. I don't know who to believe. Right now, I'm not sure I trust or believe anyone, because they literally made all these rules up 2 months ago. They just made it up. Not even. It was a month and a half ago. So I'm sure you could tell I'm a little frustrated by this. It is really hard to figure out. And if you're just as frustrated, I get it. But this is what I have figured out is best for me, I believe. Like I said, I'm going to keep the unemployment and hold on to the PPP with the hopes of giving it back. And we'll just see how that goes. This whole thing is a mess. It's just blowing my mind, really, honestly. So that's where we're at. Welcome to the world of being a small business owner, especially in a time like this. It's very difficult. So if this helped you at all, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. All right, so thanks for watching, and yeah, thanks for going along this journey with me while I'm trying to figure this out. Again, like and subscribe below. Check out all my links, and I'll see you on the next video.